Resident Evil.
Hello family, my name is Chris, I am your home gamer dad, and welcome to our first boss fight within Resident Evil, the board game. Last time, Chris and Kenneth ran through second floor East B scenario, moving around statues, trying their best to get through that the best way they could. I definitely could have played that a lot better in the long run. Plus I was getting kind of unlucky with certain draws, but hey, that's the point of the game, right? It is what it is. They got their item, they finished the scenario, they opened a door into here, and are now face to face with this beast. This is the Yawn. This is the first boss you generally come up against in the Resident Evil video game, whenever you play Resident Evil 1. Giant snake, you fight this thing actually twice, and this here for the board game is the first of 2 times that we're actually going to be fighting this thing. And also, this is not in the base game. I'm going to let you guys know right now, this is part of the Into the Darkness expansion. So there's 2 big expansions for this game, Bleak Outpost and Into the Darkness. Into the Darkness has the Yawn as 2 different boss fights, plus a few different scenarios, which we will be getting to eventually as we go through the game. And every time I'm in a spot with an expansion, I will let you know. So if you just have the base game, you will not be fighting this. In fact, you'll be going into the crypts right now because you would have 3 masks, whereas Into the Darkness adds a 4th mask, and I'm assuming, just based on the way things are, that's what we're getting at the end of this fight. At least that's everything that I've seen so far. Before I go into how to go up against the Yawn, what he does, his moves and everything, and then the items we're going in, I think I'm just going to go ahead and read from the scenario book right now, get that out of the way, let us know all those details, and then we can start figuring out a way to survive this battle. So, to the book, so this way we may learn about second floor, East C. The door opens to a dusty and long disused attic. Ancient brown cobwebs covering near every surface. The air hangs heavy and musty, but thankfully without the bloody copper wash you've become all too used to. You scarcely take 3 steps in when a sinister hiss breaks the silence. Suddenly, a monstrous snake slithers in from an open window in the eaves. Its trunk impossibly long, scales punctured with hideous tumor-like growths. So large is the creature that despite the speed at which it moves, it still takes several long and terrifying moments to squeeze its full body through. As it rears its head and lets its mouth yawn open, you see only death awaiting. Objective: in this scenario, the characters must drive off Yawn. If Yawn is removed from the playing area, the players successfully complete the scenario. Special rules: first encounter. During the scenario, use the Yawn reference card. Shuffle the Snakebite, Coiled Grasp, Slither, Venom Spit, Rapid Lunge, and Body Slam behavior cards together, then place them face down to create Yawn's behavior deck. The remaining Yawn behavior cards are not needed during this encounter. Finally, place the Yawn direction card next to the deck. It starts in the clockwise position. It starts on the clockwise side. Driving off Yawn. Each Yawn behavior card has a threshold value in the bottom right corner. If a card is drawn with a threshold value equal to or higher than the Yawn dial's health, after resolving the card, remove it from the deck. Then roll the black dice. If the result is equal to or greater than the number of remaining behavior cards in the draw and discard piles combined, or is a umbrella symbol, which is a 1, Yawn has been driven off and the scenario has been successfully completed. After completing this scenario, draw an item C card and place it in the item box. Alright, here we go. Here's everybody over here. Let's first talk about the Yawn, the giant snake that you fight within Resident Evil 1. It took me forever to realize that its name was Yawn, but I get it. It looks like it's always yawning with its giant open mouth. Isn't that cute? So first we have the Yawn directional card. The way that the Yawn moves around the board is it will always go from corner to corner, either in a clockwise motion, or occasionally the card will get flipped over to anti-clockwise or counterclockwise, in which it will go the other way. When it moves, it does collision damage. So if it runs into one of our characters, then it will push the character along into an open space, and then after it's done with all of the pushing, because it'll just keep moving to its corner, it will then do an attack that'll either do 1 damage unless you roll any evasion whatsoever. This is also our first encounter with the Yawn, as it was stated in the book, so this is limited vision When the Yawn attacks, it will always attack a character in the center square. As it's pushing, it's trying to push some people to the center square to make it an easier target for it. You don't have to push it there, but trust me, sometimes it's better, sometimes it's not. It's really all situational. This will upgrade to something better when we fight the Yawn for a second time later. Now, also, as mentioned before, in the bottom corners of these Yawn cards here, which we don't have any tension cards or whatever, at the end of every character's turn, the Yawn goes. So Chris goes, Yawn, Kenneth, Yawn, Chris, Yawn, back and forth that way until we're dead or it is gone. We're not actually going to be bringing this thing down to 0 health. It's at 30 health. The least it can do is 1. And basically, if its health, which is this little dial over here, I'll let you know what it is, but right now it's at 30. If this number is ever lower than a threshold number that's here, so it's like 20, 15, 12, things along that ways, then after the card is done, the card comes out of the game, and I roll the black dice. So long as the number is equal to or higher than whatever I have between here and the discard pile, or if I roll a 1, then the Yawn runs away, which means that the second 1 card is gone from here. There's 6 cards in this deck, by the way. The second I remove 1, I would need to roll a 5, a 6, or a 1, already a 50% shot that the Yawn will run away after its first thing. Now, granted, I have to knock it down 10 health, which shouldn't be a problem for these two, but still, I wish that it was not equal to or greater than. I think it should have just been like greater than. Like the number on this dice needs to be greater than the number of cards here or in the disc pile. It should have just been that, but you know, whatever. It is what it is. I've seen playthroughs of this where this ends within the first draw. I've seen playthroughs of this where this has ended after like 2 or 3 cards have gone. But trust me, it'll always end before we get anywhere close to finishing off all of these. Pending dice rolls, of course. And finally, we have our 2 characters here. Chris right now is decked out in like a crazy amount of stuff. We have his handgun, a flamethrower, a shotgun, and a dagger. I don't really know why I gave him the dagger. Hang on 1 second. I'm actually going to swap the dagger out for a thing of handgun bullets. I don't think defensive items work against the Yawn. They never did in the video game, so I don't have any reasoning. I mean, it just says an enemy when it attacks, you can use the dagger and avoid it. But I don't know. Thematically, to me, in my brain, I think that that's silly. So, no, I'm going to just take whatever ammo replenishing that I have right now, because I can't do anything with the shotgun. I can do at least a little bit with the flamethrower. 2 first aid sprays at full health. Chris is good to go. And then Kenneth over here, I gave him the grenade launcher because he could probably use that. We're going to be starting this fight very long range, but if the Yawn ever ends up getting next to him, definitely going to be master of knifing the best he can because he could do 2 damage with his knife, which is amazing. I mean, Kenneth right now is a huge damage dealer right now with the grenade launcher doing up to 3. And so, you know what? You know what? I'm changing my mind again. I'm going to swap the grenade launcher with the shotgun because the grenade launcher is a massive amount of damage, and I think Chris is going to try to stay away as much as possible, firing off that grenade launcher and then his handgun, whereas Kenneth, if he gets up close, he'll be able to use his master of knifing, but he should back off to use his handgun or his shotgun as well. We do have 2 sets of handgun bullets for him, so he can just keep firing away. Lots of healing herbs from Kenneth. Because remember, his special ability, if he uses any one of these, he gets to keep one of the mixtures within his inventory. With that said, back over to the board, and it's time we get this started. Now again, the Yawn is right here. When it moves, it will always move corner to corner. It'll just keep going. If it ever runs into a character, then they are immediately pushed out of the way. After all the pushing has stopped, then the Yawn will do that attack, and we'd have to roll for defense. Got this over here, so everything's going to be live and action-packed and so much fun. We got our first player right here, which is Chris. Second player down here, Kenneth. First thing we're going to do is, because the Yawn is facing this way, it's a better chance for him to run here and possibly hitting Chris on his turn. So Chris is actually going to go 1, 2. He'll take 2 steps backwards, trying to get into the far corner right here from the Yawn. And then we're going to go ahead and fire off 2 grenade launchers. So we got 2 red dice right here. We're going to go ahead and just fire them off. Ba-doom, ba-doom, ba-doom. Okay, so what do we got? We got a regular hit, which is 2 damage, and then a critical hit, which is 1 damage, which is really silly. I feel like that's a misprint because that's 3 damage on a grenade launcher, whereas that's 1 splash with everything in a push, and you don't push enemy or bosses. But All right, well, in any case, we did 3 damage to the Yawn, so now it is down to 27, and that is the end of Chris's turn. So then we come over here, and the Yawn does its first thing, Rapid Lunge. Move Yawn 2 corners, great, so it can hit Chris anyway. It will then do a range 1 attack that needs a medium dodge, and if it hits, it does 1 damage and pushes, and then we flip the Yawn's directional card over. This is a threshold of 1, so it would need to be at 1 health, so that'll never go away. If anything, it will always do Rapid Lunge, and it'll always jump back and forth between these between going one way or the other. So I'm doing this now just because it's going to happen, but Yawn moves over here, turns, and then moves over here and pushes Chris. So I'm going to push Chris over this way. Yawn then turns. Chris needs to dodge, so he needs any dodge. Perfect. So he avoided the attack, and now Yawn's going to do another attack. Range 1, 1 damage against Chris right there. He needs a medium dodge or better in order to survive, and he gets it. Fantastic. All right, perfect. And now the Yawn is facing this way, and he's going to go up and around. All right, so now Ken... All right, Ken, turn to the side right here, face your target. Let's start with a shotgun blast. First shotgun blast does absolutely nothing. Great. Let's do a second shotgun blast. A second one does 2 damage. Awesome. I'm going to do a third shotgun blast right here, which does nothing. And I don't want to waste all of it already, so let's do a handgun. 3 shots from the handgun. Oh, look at that. It actually did 1 damage there. Fantastic. All right, so now the Yawn is at 24 health. We're chipping away at it little by little, so that's good. I already did the 2 damage from Chris and the 3 damage from, or whatever it is, from Kenneth. So that's really good. All right, so we have 3 shotgun shells. Your handgun is at 12, 4 grenades, still got some flamethrower and everything. Chris is right next to it. It will probably move somewhere, but we'll see what we got. Coiling Grasp. The attack below is resolved against each character in the center square. There's nobody in the center square, so it actually doesn't move either. Oh, that's really good. That's fantastic because Chris is right here, and what he's going to then do is let's just go ahead and unload the flamethrower. Let's burn this thing alive. So action number 1, flamethrower. 2 hits, yes. It's down to 22. Let's do hit number 2 for action number 2, nothing. Action number 3, more fire, awesome. Now it's down to 20, which I believe is its first threshold. And let's just go ahead and do for 4 shots from the flamethrower and 1 more damage down to 19. That is awesome. Good flame usage, Christians. Burn, 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 burn. All right, flamethrower is all the way down to 6 charges at this point. That's okay. I mean, we're using a lot of our, whatever it is, our resources, but maybe I can get Kenneth in closer and just start knifing at him. It would make more sense for him, at least. Next, we have Slither. Move the Yawn 4 corners, so it's going to be exactly where it is. If the Yawn movement caused 1 or more collision, don't resolve the attack. Okay. All right, so here we go. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, and we're pushing Ken this way, so he's going to move up here, and he's going to turn, and he's going to push him. So I actually am going to push the 2 of them to the center right now, because we've already used the card. There's only 1 card in his deck that I know of that targets the center. Now, if he does anything else, he's going to target them anyway, but that 1 card that we had before that specifically targets the center is dangerous. That one's gone, so I'm not worried about that right now. However, it is Ken's turn, and because we are technically adjacent to this thing, he is going to, you know what, should Ken move again? It's not going to flip over. Yeah, Ken's actually going to move 1 down, and then we're just going to be knifing this thing. So let's do action number 3 for a knife. Oh, what is that? 1 damage, fantastic. So he goes to 18 without using any, ammunition, because this is all master knifing. Oh, that's a critical. That's 2 damage. Fantastic. That's down to 16. And then his last action, stab, 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 stab. Nice. Oh, another 1 damage. That you did 4 damage, Ken. That's awesome. That's great. Oh, man. Ken is so good with this master knifing because of how powerful it is. I probably didn't even need to stay there. I should have probably knifed him. Well, it was one away, so that's why I'm able to do the master of knifing. I don't need to be in the same spot in order to use the knife because of his master of knifing being at range 1. That is great. All right, so now our yawn is at, okay, so we have it already. So the threshold is 15. This gets resolved, and then we remove this and we roll the black die. But what is this? Move the yawn 1 corner, resolve the attack blow against each character in one of the 4 squares diagonal from it, which is actually Chris. So there you go. That's what it's like for being in the center. So he moves 1 corner, he's going to move here, and then he's going to venom spit Chris because Chris is in one of these 4 corners around the yawn, and that's where this target hits. This will do 1 damage and push if Chris can't dodge it. Oh, he can. Oh, good. Very nice. Very nice. He dodges it. He dodges all the damage. He dodges the pushing. Fantastic. Now then, we remove this from the game. Well, from this scenario, I should say. And now we have 5 cards in his deck. And we roll this and we get a 4. So we're still going on because it's less than, again, if I'd rolled a 5, a 6, or a 1, this battle would have immediately ended right now. I still think that it should have been exact or higher. I'm sorry, it should have been any number higher than what's in there. So I should have only been able to roll a 1 or a 6. Even just rolling this and just ending it is pretty weird, but doesn't matter. There you go. That's that. Kenneth did his thing, so now it is Chris's turn. I mean, in all honesty, reloading the flamethrower is way easier than the grenade launcher. So Chris is going to take this advantage of being 1 space away and hit him 1 more time with the flamethrower, doing absolutely nothing. Do I do it 1 more time? We go down to 4? Let's go down to 4. All right, action number 2. Okay, so that does 2 damage, so that brings him down to 13. That's good. Chris is then just going to back up 1 to be safe, and you know what? Let's fire the grenade launcher. Let's take 1 grenade round for his 4th action, and kaboom! All right, what does that one do? 2 damage. Fantastic. So now the yawn is at 11. Awesome. Good job, guys. All right, grenade is down to 3. Flamethrower is at 4. Shotgun's at 3. Handgun's at 3. Kenneth just knifes this thing to death. All right, what do we got here? Next we have, all right, so this is another one that's going to come out. Snakebite. Move the yawn 1 corner and then range 1 and does that attack. So he's still going counterclockwise. So we're going to over here. Boom, he turns, and he would have attacked characters within any one of these spaces. We are 1 back, so it does not actually happen, and that card has resolved. His health is less than 20, so that comes out. We now have 4, so now we have to roll a 1, 4, 5, or 6. Will you run away? Yes, and there it is. Phew. Away he goes out of the, well, scenario, I should say. Oh man, that was a close one. I know, right? I hope we never have to see that thing again. Oh boy, oh, look at all this blood and scales and, oh look, I found an item. Cool, what'd you get? And we found, because we completed the scenario, the top card of the C deck, which is the Death Mask, which I'm pretty sure was supposed to be there anyway. I think the rest of these are 4 stars going down the rest of the C deck, which is really not that many left in there, which is pretty crazy. This is it. This will actually give us, let's clean this up a little bit. So the last card was Body Slam. Yawn's collision attack this turn are medium difficulty instead of low. Oh boy. Move Yawn 2 corners and then he does another attack. So yeah, that one probably would have hurt as well, but I'm actually really, really surprised that nobody took any damage. I had all of this healing stuff ready to go and didn't even need it. But with that said, we do have all 4 masks right here. This is the one that we just got. This one right here was from the director's cut. So this now means that we can enter the crypt, which is awesome. And I can't wait to get into that, which we will go head on over to the mansion board momentarily. But these are all going to have to be in our inventory when we do it, because I believe we need these in order to trigger stuff. So I got a lot of inventory space to figure out here. But overall, successful battle with the Yawn. First boss fight down, yeah! Actually, before we head on over to the map, we do have to do the end phase. The mansion's danger level does go up by 1. We do not lower it because we haven't defeated the boss yet, which is a thing that happens later. So now we're at 7, well into the amber level of danger. No zombies, no corpses, nothing like that. No one heals. We're actually all in full health, both our characters and our reserves. The grenade launcher goes back up to 5. The flamethrower will go up to 6. And the shotgun will go back up to 5. I wouldn't mind finding some extra ammunition throughout the course of the next few scenarios in order to refill them. Used quite a bit, but hey, it is what it is. No key items. And that is pretty much it for the end phase. It was nice that we were told to place the C item directly into our item box so nobody actually had to collect it, because we had no inventory spaces open at all. We didn't need them because the yawn went down fairly easy. But next time is a fight to the death. Either it's going down or we are going down, and I definitely can tell you I'd rather have one result over the other. In any event, we go ahead and are able to say we have completed this spot over here. This is where the yawn fight was. And because we have 4 masks, which again, if you're playing the regular retail version, this would only be 3 masks here instead of 4. This now unlocks. So this flips over and we're able to get into the crypts, which at this point is the only place that we can go. Hopefully we'll be getting there and be able to find the helm key, I think this is, because once we get the helm key, all of this stuff pops open and we'll be able to do other. I think the gardens also unlock off of the crypts somewhere. I'm not sure where though, actually, but it actually has to be the helm key at some point in order to be able to get to these spots, or else I don't know where else we were going to go. Crypt Day is interesting because it features a mini boss of sorts within it. So I'm going to read up on that, make sure I'm ready for that one going forward, and see who I want to bring into it, because Chris and Kenneth are up here. All of our other team members are kind of running around doing other things. Maybe they'll combine back together or something. Maybe Chris will take the masks because he's the one that's collected a few and is like, hey, let's go over here and meet up with someone over there. I don't know. I'll figure it out as I go along and try to think about who I want to bring into the next scenario. That means in order to not miss the next thrilling episode of Resident Evil the board game, be sure you are subscribed to the Home Gamer Dad. If you wish to support the channel even further, it is extremely appreciated. There's plenty of ways to do that down in the description section below. Everything that goes into that will go right back into the channel, making sure that the lights stay on and that I give you more episodes sooner. Just all kinds of good things go to helping the channel grow. Again, the description section has listings of that. YouTube memberships and Patreon, super appreciated. Some exclusive videos, early access to videos, things along that ways you would get from there. Otherwise that, to be honest with you, your view, your like, your subscribe, your comment, sharing these videos with everyone, all of that goes a long way into helping the channel grow as well. And I thank each and every one of you for it. You guys are amazing. Absolutely. Take care of yourselves and each other. We are family forever, gaming together until we dive into the crypts and get chased around by some nasty monsters. One in particular. You guys have a good one, and I will see you later.